What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Reviews Unplugged. My name is Oscar, and today I was listening to two videos while I was at work, and they really sparked a deep question within myself about the Flesh and Blood community and the long-term view of it, for instance, like 5, 10, 20 years from now. So basically, there's two extremely popular TCGs. I don't know if you've ever heard of them. One is called Pokemon, and the other one is called Magic. Both the biggest games on the market right now. But we'll go over just like a small snippet of both of them of these videos is just the value of cards versus sealed product, and then also what is Flesh and Blood? Is it a completely utilitarian kind of product where the power three, the big three, whatever you want to call the fabled cards, the only reason that they're going to hold value is because of how great they are in the game? Or are they going to hold value because they're going to be a collectible item for somebody to purchase, hold, get a PSA graded, and then always have with them? So Pokemon falls under that spectrum right there, right? It's an extremely collectible card game. So when you go off and you go and buy yourself Pokemon products, brand new Pokemon products, guys, you're going to do this. You're going to go off and find yourself these chase cards, and you're going to get them sleeved up. You're going to put them on either like a semi-rigid or, a card saver, and then you're going to go off and send it off to be graded so that somebody can tell you how perfect that card actually is. And then that's what your ultimate goal is. Your ultimate goal is to be a collector. Your goal isn't to become the world champion TCG player. Very few people actually play Pokemon. It's shocking, right? Like, very few people actually go off and, create a deck, pull out their fire deck, and are running like 4 Charizards to have this certain win condition, blah 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 blah. But Magic is the exact opposite, where there is really no collectability. I mean, yes, there's a Power 9, and everybody wants one of those cards, and those cards do get graded and everything like that. But once we move forward to more modern products, very few, if not any, actually, and if you've seen a lot of alpha investment videos, you will see that one of the things that Rudy talks about is Timmy's grading cards, Timmy's grading Magic cards, because it is a foolish view of you to go off and open up a package of Magic, find your really rare hollow majestic, and then go and send that off to get graded, and then hold that and think it's going to retain some kind of value in the long term. So that is really where I'm wondering, what will Flesh and Blood be? Will it be a full utilitarian kind of game where the reason the big three, the fabled cards currently will retain value for the collectability aspect of them? Will they retain the value because of the gameplay mechanics that they have? So let's just pop this up so you can kind of see like where these thoughts came from.
Go Aeon Torns. There we go. Emrakul. These Eldrazi's are actually, if I recall, they're like $40 a pop, man. Those are very, very expensive Eldrazi's. Now keep in mind, everybody, the Pulse, my patron paid $3,000 a box for this video, so he needs to make $6,000 to break even, everybody. Good luck, James.
Good luck, James, right? So he paid $6,000 for sealed product, where the possibility of an amazing pool, which we just saw one, was $40, and that was because of the utility of that card, right? I didn't read it, I didn't check it, whatever. That card does a certain effect within the game that warrants $40 worth of value. Then, if you check out SM Pratt's view on this, and for the people who don't know who SM Pratt is, because most people that come into Flesh and Blood, I think, are coming in here as former, Magic refugees or just Magic watchers and listeners and stuff like that, and players and all that. S. Pratt is basically the Rudy of Pokemon. Like, if you look at behind him, I mean, he does have right now a couple of the Power 9 on display, but then he's got himself his sealed unlimited base set box right there, and then he's got a wall of just like really rare Pokemon cards. Then he has a little graded thing right there. So he's basically like the Rudy of the Pokemon world. So this is his thoughts.
When I collect, I'm this rare, weird person in Magic where I like to collect the cards, and very quickly I realized there's not many people doing this. The best example is like these Alpha Power cards I have back here, like the Mox Emerald and Ruby. I bought those recently, actually a year ago on the same date. I bought them for the same price as some other Power 9 cards, and you can't find a single card in Pokemon, like something like this, like a first edition base would probably be comparable. And even though first edition base is technically, less rare, there's more of it out there, which is more to the point. I can't find a single first edition base card that hasn't increased in a year. Even the bottom tier, energy, like the lowest card has still gone up in a year. And again, first edition base is more.
So that like falls into collectability, right? Pokemon is for the collectability aspect of it. Cards will retain value and grow in value because you as a buyer have sentimental value towards it. Me, this Snorlax card right here has sentimental value to me because I remember watching the anime. And even though this Snorlax here is going to become later on more rare, worth more money because of that stamp right there, it doesn't diminish how much I enjoy this Snorlax card. I also enjoy this Snorlax card, but that card will not be worthy to be graded because of the collectability aspect of it. But as far as utilitarian purposes, both cards have the exact same effect, Body Slam, which I couldn't even tell you how to cast, And then Magic, you saw like a box worth $6,000, really inside doesn't have much more than a couple $100 worth of value. So it's just my thoughts, and I really, really want to hear your guys' opinion on the Reddit or see your guys' opinion in the YouTube comment section, because this is just kind of off the cuff kind of thought that I had. Will like a Bravo promo card be graded and then retain value because it's Bravo? It's one of the first heroes that we do encounter in the game. And then will the same effect happen will Bravo become basically the Charizard, where he's like the first real great card that everybody enjoyed playing, using, and whatnot, and then later on we get introduced to a different Guardian, that I guess the better analogy would be Ira. So let's just move over the Bravo example to Ira, right? Will Ira be graded and seen as like the great throwback nostalgia card, and that's the reason somebody would want that card graded in a BGS10 Black Label, and that would demand a premium? But then if you went off and opened up Crucible of War, got Benji graded in a BGS10 Black Label, that card wouldn't retain value as heavily as Ira would, because Ira is like the first hero that you really get introduced to in the starter decks. Benji is in Crucible of War, and that card, some people might have pulled it, some people may have not, some people don't play Blitz. There's all these other factors that are going to weigh in on the fact of, is that card a good enough to be graded? Will the first edition stamp on it make it worthy of grading? Will the unlimited variants of Ira in the rainbow foil, will that be worthy enough to be graded and retain a value just because it's Ira? And these are all just kind of thoughts I'm having of the long-term aspects of Flesh and Blood. Is it going to fall under cards become valuable because of the use of the card, will cards also be collectible enough where you would want to open up a pack fresh? Let's just call it the Return of the Monarch dropping in 2025. Will you pop that one open and you pull, the newest shapeshifter and be like, oh my goodness, I got to go send this off to PSA to go get graded, and then sit on that card for a couple of years to see it grow in value? Or will it just be like, okay, now I have this new card, it's so fresh in the market that very few people have it, that alone will demand a higher value inside the secondary market, and we'll need to go ahead and pack it, sell it right away raw for the people who are going to be very competitive and want to purchase that card so that they can enter tournaments later on. These were all just like my thoughts going on where Flesh and Blood is currently and like the trajectory of it. Will it fall under being a more of a collectible item, or will it become more of a gameplay mechanic, or will it be able to actually like toe the line and be collectible while also being playable? Will cards demand a value because they're playable and because they're collectible, or will one of these take a backseat to the other? And I really don't know. If I would have to put a pin on it and say where I think it would fall under, I would say anything first edition until they stop their first edition stamping. All of that product will be gradable. Like coming from the Pokemon world myself, I dabbled in Magic. I have a couple of decks here, that I have a couple of decks, and I go off to my LGS and I play people sometimes. So, this is my Commander deck. But these cards have a value to me because they're playable. I would never grade any of these cards. What I do with these cards is I just sleeve them to keep them protected so that later on I can continue to play them. Later on my deck expands and I put in new cards and stuff like that. If it does get like severely dinged up, I would be upset for the resale value of it, but not that much. Whereas if I got this Charizard card dinged up, this is the Vivid Voltage Charizard promo card, I know that if I scratch this, ding it up, it will lose value because the end rate will be that the graded card, the grade would drop, and that would lower its value. Let's just throw out in a year from now, this card is going to be valued at $600-700 if it's a 10. But if I dinged it up just a little bit, the grader might give it a 9, and that would drop its value to anywhere from $200 to $300. Do you get where I'm kind of going at? Like, what will Flesh and Blood's trajectory be? Will it fall under collectability? Will it fall under playability? I'm strongly leaning that it's going to become only playable. Like, things will really not retain extreme value until only the first edition products is what I'm trying to get at. Like, things worthy of grading will be first editions. So the alpha print, the first edition is going on right now. All of that will be something that will be like a staple of Flesh and Blood that you would want to go off and grade. And then once the first edition era ends, which, I think in Pokemon, it was the Neo. No. Roaring Skies. It's Roaring Skies, I think, is where we have our last first edition stamp. And then from there, the collectability still was available. I would really say check out this video from SM Pratt if you really want to see like a more in-depth perspective, because he quotes, specific Pokemon eras that exist and tells you like, okay, yeah, the black labels, of these specific grades of these specific cards still retain a value. However, will War of the Sparks, will you buy any card within War of the Sparks that is graded a 10 for a premium? Or will you only buy it raw because of the utility of that card? Is basically the gist of all this, guys. So, sorry about the last little bit's a little bit rambly, but I just really wanted to flesh out my thoughts on this and where I'm coming from. So, I'm going to just throw this up, and I hope you guys enjoy. And if you do, please drop me a comment. Let me know what you guys think. And like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.